talk about this, but we get lots of emails from random companies wanting to send us something to check out. And I've talked about this random stuff before, like USB cables and night vision cameras and robot vacuums, you name it. We get emails about all of this stuff. Now, this is kind of what happened early in the year when Vissles reached out with their V84, and I told them, because I like that keyboard, if they had anything else coming out, to let me know, and maybe I'd be keen to check it out. So that's exactly what we're doing today. We're taking a look at the Vissles LP85. Now, this is a low profile keyboard with optical switches, and if this thing looks familiar, it's because it is familiar. It's a better and more versatile replacement for Apple's Magic Keyboard, except it's got RGB. Let's take a look. I gotta level with you guys as well. This keyboard right here, this is a Kickstarter keyboard. Now, I don't like to make videos about products that are crowdfunded. However, we've seen Vissles deliver on their keyboards in the past, and I would imagine that they would probably do this again. Like at the time of filming this video, the LP85 campaign is fully funded. Unlike the June case, who took $1.3 million from their backers, including me, and after 2 years, still can't even ship a single case. But this isn't about the June case, right? Anyways, Vissles were going to send both the PC layout and the Mac layout, but all they did was send the Mac layout. Ultimately, that won't really make much of a difference since it's really just the keycap print, really. And the main difference between the two is the Mac version has black keycaps and the PC version has white keycaps, and you can still get the Mac layout with black keycaps, if that makes sense, or white keycaps. But also, I just wanted to mention this as well, because we get this when we do these specialized kind of keyboards too. If you're a keyboard enthusiast, this probably is not the keyboard for you. But let's start off with what you get in the box. You get the keyboard itself, you get some documentation, and a USB Type A to Type C cable for plugging it in. And that's it. The overall design and construction is really solid. The keyboard itself weighs around 547 grams as measured. It's 118 millimeters wide, 307 millimeters long, and around 15 millimeters high, making this one of the lowest profile optical keyboards on the market. Other than that, it's a pretty standard 75% deck. This keyboard feels quite dense when you pick it up, and there's also rubber feet along the length of the bottom of the LP85, so it won't slip and slide all over your desk, unless that's something you want it to do, which you can not fix. Anyway, that's just me being weird. Why am I talking like this? Nobody knows. The included USB Type A to C cable can be used to either charge the LP85 or to use it as a wired keyboard. The USB Type C port is center aligned, so if you're looking down at it from the top, you'll notice that it's straight in the middle. Now, there's no adjustable feet because this is supposed to be a better clone of the Apple Magic Keyboard. There's a power switch on the backs of the deck that allows you to turn the keyboard on or off for Bluetooth operation. If you toggle it to being off while the USB is plugged in, it'll function as a wired keyboard. If you unplug it and switch it to Bluetooth mode, obviously, you can pair it via Bluetooth. It's pretty easy to pair. You just press Function P and you're ready to go. Although you can pair it to multiple devices as well. That's a whole nother thing. The LP85 has per key RGB lighting, and all of that lighting can be controlled on the keyboard itself by pressing a combination of the function key and the delete key, as well as the arrow keys to cycle through all of the effects. The keycaps on this cannot be changed. Well, at least not officially anyway. Vissles recommends that you don't change your keycaps, otherwise they reckon it could potentially damage the optical switches. For the target audience for this keyboard though, I don't imagine this is going to be a big issue anyways. The font on each key is good, but one thing I feel is a bit odd is the legend for each key is slightly off center. This could be a trigger for some people, but honestly, I don't even look at the keyboard when I use keyboards, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, speaking of switches, the LP85 uses low profile optical switches that you can traditionally find on high-end gaming laptops. Now, this would automatically indicate that the LP85 would be really expensive, but as you're about to find out later in the video, it's actually pretty well priced, but we'll come back to that. These switches are optical. What does that even mean? Well, it means there's like a little beam of light or a little laser inside the switch to measure the actuation of any key press. And speaking of, the actuation distance is around 1.2 millimeters with an actuation force of 55 grams, and the whole switch bottoms out at around 2.5 millimeters. But while we're on the topic of these switches, they're a little bit odd, especially for an optical switch, right? They opted to make these switches clicky, which is weird for a keyboard that is supposed to be a replacement for an Apple Magic Keyboard. Now, we know when Macs are traditionally used, like in creative environments, not all the time, but let's just say you had an engineer in a recording studio who had this keyboard and they pressed the key, they would absolutely lose their mind because, you know, you could probably hear it in the recording session. They'd probably throw it out. However, if you're a Mac user and you like clicky switches, then it's fine. Let's have a little bit of a listen to the switches though. You can also use Bluetooth to pair it wirelessly, and it will allow you to pair this keyboard to multiple devices as well. So when Claire asked me before, like, hey, can I have this keyboard once you're done with it to use my iPad? I said no, because you can't have it. I'm joking, she can have it. Anyway, I kind of like the addition of Bluetooth here, and it's good that it has Bluetooth, so you can just pick which way you want to use it. And the way that I use this keyboard the whole time that I used it was with Bluetooth. I didn't really plug it in except to charge it. And usually I would have lots of issues with Bluetooth stuff, but the LP85's Bluetooth was fine. As usual with these keyboard videos, I want to talk about my experience using this keyboard for the purposes of the stuff that I use it for, because you might look for the same things that I do in a keyboard. From a content creation standpoint, which is usually my primary use case, the LP85 is okay. The numpad is always something that I need on a keyboard that I use, but again, when you're buying this keyboard, especially as a replacement for the Magic Keyboard, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So there's no surprises that it doesn't have a numpad. For gaming, this keyboard is not good. Well, at least it wasn't for me. The main issue I had with this keyboard is that it's pretty uncomfortable to use for long periods of time. Maybe that's because I'm used to using keyboards that have some tilt adjustment or just some more ergonomics, but for gaming, I'd say give this keyboard a miss. But again, if you're a Mac user, you're not gaming anyway, so it doesn't matter. The overall ergonomics is about the same as an Apple Magic Keyboard. I don't have one here accessible. I do have one in a box somewhere, but you know how it is, right? And that's kind of the point of this keyboard. And personally, that isn't my cup of tea. It's just too flat for me personally, but that might be exactly what you're looking for. And if it is, I'd say it's pretty good. The other thing is, out of all the keyboards we've tested, I feel like I mistype on this keyboard more than any other keyboard that I've ever tested. That's mainly to do with the feel of the deck because it's so flat. And if you're coming from a Magic Keyboard, I think you'll feel right at home here. So if this is the option you're looking for to replace your Mac keyboard, you're gonna be all good. So what don't I like about the LP85? Remember, guys, all this stuff that I talk about in these videos is just my opinion, right? It's up to you what you do with that information. I don't like how flat this keyboard is. I don't like the fact that I mistype on it so much. Other than that, I'd actually say it's a worthy replacement for an Apple Magic Keyboard, and here's why. If you want a little bit more customization over Apple's offering, You can have RGB lighting, you can pair this to multiple devices, and you're also getting far superior switches to those broken old Apple switches. Even if they are a bit loud, you can get all of this for the same price as an Apple Magic Keyboard. So if you're interested in grabbing the Vissles LP85, they're going for around 99 US dollars or around 137 AUD at the time of filming this video, which the only caveat being that I already mentioned that this is a Kickstarter keyboard. Now I'll put a link to the campaign in the description down below for you to check out, but yeah, let us know what you think about the LP85. You guys already know how I feel about it. Like for me personally, not my cup of tea because of the way that I use keyboards, but I can see that if you're coming from a Magic Keyboard, and I have used Magic Keyboards quite a bit, this is better than that. The reason why I don't use a Magic Keyboard on my Mac as well is because it's not comfortable for me. I got big fat hands and my wrists are sore from skateboarding and hurting my wrists over all the years. So you know what it's like. I need something comfortable. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you hate the video, hit the dislike button twice. Not that you'll be able to see the dislikes. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. Lucky 10, huh? Lucky 10. Yeah. There's nothing lucky about that. If you know what I'm talking about, comment below. Thanks for watching.